Well, back for day 2 of GRM prep on the Mustang. I haven't even gotten it out yet. I've already had issues this morning. It has not been an auspicious beginning because, yeah, so I don't know what I'm going to do. I got to fix that before I get to go home. So I'm going to have to take time to work on that before I'm done here today. Right now, the plan is get the Mustang out, take a look, get the epoxy on, because I think all the rust treatment has been done. You can see it's all blackened everywhere that it converted the rust. So I will get epoxy on so that can dry. That'll take a day. I think I'm going to finish painting the cowl. And basically the cowl in the engine bay, because I need to get clear coat on this at some point anyway, and that's something I can do again while the epoxy's drying. The paint can dry. Maybe do the window, because this has to be remounted in the track, so maybe that. And then I need to work on, I was half debating not doing it, but I think what I'll do is I'll reseal the HVAC, the heater and air conditioning boxes, the blower box and the air conditioning box. And then we'll see where we're at. I kind of, that feels a bit ambitious for today already, but we'll see. The epoxy is on, and it's kind of rough right now. So what I do is after it's dried a little, you can just come in here. I'm using lacquer thinner, but lacquer thinner on a finger, and you can smooth the surface a bunch. Right now it's kind of tacky still, so it's not ideal. I'm not smoothing it so much as moving it around. But you can use a rag dipped in lacquer thinner or a paintbrush or whatever, and you can get this to smooth out and lay down, and that reduces the need, if you care about the appearance, for body work, any sort of filler or sanding or any of that shit. So I'm gonna let this tack up, and then I'll get it smoothed out, and then I'll bring you back. And there it is, all smoothed out. Not perfect, but feathered at the edges, and it's good enough for who it's for. You know what I mean? This came out fine. These little spots are just fine. That one in the back, the door jamb on the door itself, it's all just fine. So it's going to be sealed, which is the important part. None of it was structural, which is the other important part. Moving on to other stuff. I've been doing a little painting. Got to get that done. Because I'm probably never going to come back to it once the engine's in. So get it done while I can. So I've been doing that. I got to go work on this thing now so that I can be able to drive home. So that's probably the rest of my day. Yep, this hose is pretty bad. You can see how dry rotted it is. You see all those little cracks, those fine cracks, and that little spot in the middle of all that orange is where the hole was. It's just bound. I mean, it's super spongy. To call it soft would be generous. We'll call it flaccid. It ain't good. So I'm going to go up to Napa and see if we can match it to something, because they, of course, don't have this hose in stock. Or at least they don't say so online. Saab is fixed. Required buying a $40 hose and then cutting off an end. And then adapting it. So this hose on the Saab is like 1 inch on one end and 3/4 inch on the other. So I had to adapt the 1 inch hose down to 3/4. Ideally that's fixed, and I can get back to not worrying about it for a while. I will go home and order the correct hose. In fact, I'll order all the hoses for the car. That way, when the next one goes, I have the replacement. Day 2 in the books. Not very productive, as I always say, because I didn't get nearly what I want to get done. I need to get my brain straight about all of this. I've got a project management board going, and it's just not well organized. I just need to get stuff on a calendar so I know what gets done in order, because I'm just sort of toiling away, and I know all of this stuff needs to be done, and it all needs to be done right now. But that's not helpful, but certain things have to happen before other things, and I should get that stuff in order so that I know what that is. But day 2, Done, wrapping it up. I got stuff I can take home and work on, so that's what I'll do tonight. I thought day 2 was over, essentially. You know, it blew the cooling hose earlier today, and now the muffler has decided to fall off. So yeah, tomorrow I am not going to be able to work on the Mustang. Well, at least not go to my parents' place to do that. I'm going to stay home, remove the muffler assembly, and I will then, after I get the muffler off this, I'm going to take that car, which is my Focus ST, and do the rear hubs, which is the only reason I haven't driven it in almost a year. And, you know, then I can get back to the Mustang on what will be Monday, on day 4. All right, we're on day 3, I think. I think that's right. It might be day 4. Nope, I think it's day 3. I think it's day 3. Might be day 4. The goal today, I'm trying to do the window tracks, get them set on the window. I'll show that here in a minute. Oh, I want to start the wiring, and I want to primer the door jambs. Tomorrow I got pick up color match top coat. I'll do that. But in the meantime, I'm going to get to it. Agenda today is get this window remounted in the brackets correctly. So they're glued on. It's the least ideal version of a mounting of a window ever, because the glue dries out or whatever, and then it falls out after a number of years. This is probably like the 3rd time I've done this window in my lifetime of the car, maybe the 4th. And the last time I did it, and the reason it's just as well that it came off is I didn't do it correctly. I didn't mount it on the brackets correctly. I didn't follow the correct measurements. So the window never fit the car very well. This is the driver's side. The passenger side is actually okay, so I'm going to leave it for the time being. But what I've got to do is get this off. And so I'm just very gently using a putty knife to scrape in between the glass and the channel, the metal bracket, so that I can get it off. I got to do that on both sides. It's very time consuming, so I'm just sitting here slaving away at that. All right, I got the track off. It took a bit of work. The tracks are all cleaned up, ready to go on. So I got all the goo out of both of them. I have measured according to all online resources. This is correct. 3/4 of an inch for the front bracket, 3/4 of an inch space. And in the back, you measure 27.5 over to the front edge of the back bracket. And then there's supposed to be a metal piece here that I believe is for the stop at the bottom of the door. And mine is MIA. Maybe it's in the door, but I'll look. I don't expect to find it. If not, I'm just going to put a piece of rubber hose across there. I'll split a piece of rubber hose and put it on there, and that'll have to serve that purpose. For centering the glass, because these channels are wider than the glass so that you can get the glue in there, I have taken some vacuum line, split it so that I can get it into the channel, and that will center the window in the channel. And it's just, you know, they're each like, you know, 1/2 inch thick, so it won't take up a bunch of the channel, and it'll help wedge the windshield and center it. And then once I, you know, get the activated glue in there, and I'm using the right stuff, the 3M stuff is expensive, but by all accounts, it's the stuff to use. Get it into the channel and get these pushed on, and then I will tape them on to make sure they stay on and dry and you know, don't get forced off in some way through the curing process or whatever. I showed you the wrong stuff. It was also 3M, but this is the correct stuff for attaching a window. Channel bonding and side light adhesive. So that is the stuff I'm going to use. I'm going to scuff the glass with some 80 grit. Supposedly that helps with adhesion. So I'm going to do that on both sides, and then we're going to get to gluing. What a fiasco that was. It's not pretty. I have made a mess. To some degree, you're supposed to, but I have gotten it on the glass in places because I was handling it, but it's on. Couple things I'll say. The tube of 3M channel bond was not enough to do both these. Maybe I was too liberal with it, but it's not like it's pushed out all over, just gooed, ridiculously. This side even, I ran out, and look, the stuff cures super fast too, especially on an 80-degree day. It was starting to harden, so I got this side on, then went to finish putting this side on, and I ran out of the channel bond. So I was scrambling. I'm like, that's clearly not going to be enough channel bond. What am I going to do? And I remembered I had brought some roofing flashing glue. Roof and flashing, weather tight urethane. It's to fix roofing tiles and flashing and that sort of stuff. So it's a good strong urethane. It's meant for all weather. So by the time I got it mounted in the dispenser, the stuff had already started to harden and cure. So I globbed it in there as best I could. And the tube broke because it was an old tube and I was squeezing it, and then it just spewed out the side. So I just globbed it on. Luckily I was wearing gloves. I just globbed it into the channel, and then I got the channel on. You can see it's centered in the channel. If it's not clear, it is, because I use those pieces of hose to wedge, and it perfectly centers the channel. So there's 2 1/4 to 1/3 inch sections where the hose are that won't be bonded, but it'll be pressed in. It's definitely pressed in, and I got it pressed in as far as it'll go on both sides. I don't know if you can see that. It's pressed in as far as I could get it to go down. With the hose in there, that's not going to go all the way. So hopefully, I feel like that's enough. I feel like there's enough goo in there to bond this. And I've got it taped, of course, to not allow it to come off. And it definitely wanted to push back off, especially the side with the roofing flashing. You see it globbed, and then it instantly cured. And I put it on 5 minutes ago. Anyway, it's done. I'm gonna leave this. This is gonna dry for a couple of days. I'm gonna move on to something else. I've got a couple more hours here today, but I'd like to go have some lunch, visit with my mom, and take a break. All right, moving on here to get these pillars sanded and primed, both those sides, and then the door jambs as well. Got to get that done before I can get it top coated. I pick up top coat tomorrow. I can't come tomorrow. Got family commitments, that sort of thing, business. But, I need to get this done so that it's dry, so that when I come back, I can top coat it, clear it, etc., etc. So I'm going to get to that. And then there are a couple other things I need to get done, but I've got like an hour. So let me get to it. Well, day 4 in the books. I did finally figure it out. Didn't get a lot done, as always, but a couple important things. Door pillars are prepped. They need to be masked and then primed and painted. Window got done. There were a couple of small things I had on the list to get to, and they did not happen, but they are very quick and short and easy. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, so it's just as well I'm not here. Then I'm back on Wednesday, and supposedly we're getting drier air. Who knows what that actually means, because it's spring in Florida, and it's probably still going to rain. But that's the day I'll get the painting done. And, there's a bunch of stuff. I've got a list I'm working through. I've got a project management, board going. And I got dates for everything. For example, the transmission's got to get picked up this week, so I can order the controller so that the transmission and the engine can go in next week. That's happening quickly, and all of that has to happen after I do the wiring. So the rest of the plan for this week, get the wiring in the car. I've seen people say, it takes a couple of days. I'm slow, so it's going to take me 4. So I got to get started on that on Wednesday. So I'll dust in the door pillars and the door jambs, and then I'll just work wiring, and whatever small stuff. I do have a couple things I'll be doing tomorrow. Tomorrow is Tuesday. It'll be day 5 at home, and I'll bring that stuff. But I've got project cars, other cars. When your project car is getting attention, the other cars get jealous, and all of my cars are project cars, so they're all jealous all of the time. So I've got things like on my daily that need to be done, on my Focus ST, just because it's been sitting for no good reason. I need to get it back up and running. This thing is going to be a bear, but I'm in it. All right, till next time.